Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm here to talk about one stock that I think is a little against my investing strategy, but I think the returns on this are something that you can't ignore, and the opportunity that it's presenting is once in a lifetime. So if you guys do enjoy this video, be sure to smash the like button. It helps me out a lot. Really appreciate it when you guys like the video. If you truly do enjoy the videos, also be sure to subscribe. We're 10 subscribers away from 500 as of recording this. So if you guys could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So we saw today there was a pretty decent decline in the portfolio, but then we bounced back up a little bit as after hours came. Google had a little bit of a shoot up in after hours, and a lot of these stocks are almost break even now on the day. So let's talk about the stock that we're getting into today. The stock that we're getting into is ticker symbol BROS, Bros. This is Dutch Bros stock. Dutch Bros stock is an interesting story because this stock is expensive. This stock is very, it's near where it's ever the highest it's ever been. Stock's been trading around this, $70, $60, 50, mid $50 range for a long time. They haven't even been public for 5 years, not even close to 5 years, or 4 years, pretty much just about. These next 2 weeks are going to be the 4-year anniversary of Dutch Bros being public. Dutch Bros is an interesting case. So they're a coffee shop. I'd compare them to Starbucks, but what they have that Starbucks doesn't is Dutch Bros does not have an interior. They are just a pop-up, and there's only a drive-through, and also they're more focused on attracting that younger crowd for maybe like sugary drinks or things of that nature. It's not very much, strictly coffee. It's a lot of, energy drinks, or they even have milkshakes. I've seen they have some pastries. So Dutch Bros is your regular coffee shop, but the thing is that it's only drive-through. And their locations are very cheap to open. Another thing I like about this company, another great aspect of investing into this company. And that's why they're a little against my thesis, is because they're expensive right now. This is an expensive company, but I think they deserve to be this expensive. The main reason for that is look at the locations of Dutch Bros. Obviously there's a glaring thing when you look at the locations. They're in 1,045. That's how many locations they have in 20 states. There's 50 states in the United States. They're only in 20. There's a lot of room for expansion. And I have a Dutch Bros in my local town, and that's just my town. I've been to other towns where I've seen the Dutch Bros. I have never seen a Dutch Bros, unless it's closed. I've never seen a Dutch Bros that's open without a line that's out of the parking lot. I mean, they are just popping every time I see one. And I personally don't get Dutch Bros just because that's not my cup of tea. I don't really enjoy, those sugary drinks. But I know that a lot of people do, and I've had them before. I've tried them. They're okay. They're good. I mean, people that like them like them. They have a very loyal customer fan base with the app, like how Starbucks has, like how these popular fast food chains have. There's a lot of loyalty in their program. This really, shows that they have a good thing going for them. A lot of people use their app. They're in 520 cities, but there's nothing on the East Coast. I mean, you could easily fit, 100 Dutch Bros in this little area right here, increase their revenue by 10-20%, and you could do that all within the next few years. So, and that's while keeping these locations. So the room for expansion on Dutch Bros is pretty insane. That is the goal when you're investing in Dutch Bros, is we want to see those shops increase. If we look at the earnings report right here, this is Q2 of 2025. We see that year over year, their shops, the units that they actually have, their shops have increased in the 14% and 18% respectively to company operated and franchised. So company operated is obviously the better one. I've actually looked into this. I would honestly franchise a Dutch Bros if I could. I honestly would. It would probably be around $150,000. I think I saw. I would do that if it was an opportunity, but sadly you cannot. Their their shops are too profitable at this point. They know they're going to do good no matter where they put a shop. So you sadly cannot franchise a Dutch Bros anymore unless you're inside of the company. They might let you. But for the most part, it's all company operated locations, which, as an investor, I like because Dutch Bros is getting more of the money. See, their revenue actually increased 28% and 29%. So that's really good. To say the least, a 30% revenue about increase year over year is something that you don't see a lot in the stock market. Their margins are pretty high in the beverage space. I mean, look at this. Their margins are in the low 30%. That's pretty good as far as food goes. A lot of, major restaurant chains have 5% margins. That's even good right there. Like I just did a video on Cheesecake Factory. Their margins they're below 5%, which they make a lot of money. But with margins like that, you have to make a lot of money to even make some money. So that's why 30% margins on a business right here is really good. I really like to see that for Dutch Bros. And let's keep looking. So their outlook, their total system new shop openings, at least 160 in 2025. So they're growing at what seems to be about a 10% clip, maybe 20, about, in that range. The revenue, they're expecting between 1.59 and 1.6 billion. So we see they're online for that, exactly online for that in the 400 $1 million range. So if we go back down, we see same shop sales growth. So a lot of things they think are going to happen. I like the revenues in this company increasing. I like how they're a quarter over quarter. They're increasing every quarter pretty much. I mean, you look at 2023, we're not really worried about that. 2024, we see a steady increase. And then it's kind of shot up this past quarter. Very good earnings for them. But with this revenue increase, I really do like the company because their revenues are so high and their expenses are so low. I mean, look at their costs and expenses. They're 234, so they kept, 100 million off the top line. That's great to see. That's a really good profit margin for one of these businesses like this. So we could go through their financials all day. But I think that, the main thing when you're investing in Dutch Bros is kind of their, opportunity for expansion. When we just look at this map again, this is just the U.S. That's what you have to think about as well. I mean, this is literally just the U.S. So they could expand internationally, which I see them doing. I don't think that's crazy. I think that what you have to realize with this company is time is going to be what propels this company. So you do need to be invested in the stock. But do I think it will outperform the S&P 500? Yes. I really honestly do think that, because if we look at a stock like Starbucks, which is kind of in the same, space, Starbucks isn't even as good as this company, I don't think, because they have to pay much higher leases. It costs more to open. They have, drive-through and interior. It's not just a little pop-up. They don't have the customer base that they have. But let's look at Starbucks in the first 5 years of their company. They went from $3 all the way to $12. So they 4x'd in the first 5 years of their company. And look at this is just the first 5 years. They were $14 stock. Now they're a $90 stock. And if you, bought Starbucks at this time and you were just waiting for a dip, you would have never made any money. This has performed the S&P 500 since 2000. Definitely, if you bought Starbucks at $5, you have outperformed the S&P. And even in 2005, if you get Starbucks at $13, now we have it all the way at 121, and then in the hundreds now. I think Dutch Bros is going to do even better than that. I'm sure there will be some splits in the stock's future, so it's not going to be expensive as it is right now. But at the same time, I think that getting into this Dutch Bros stock early while it's still in the first 5 years of being public is essential, because the growth that they have, the potential, I mean, anyone watching this sees the potential, because let's look at Starbucks now. Let's look at Starbucks locations on a map. So let's look at the same thing, Scrape Hero. So let's look at Starbucks locations. Look at how many locations they have. They have 17,000 locations. 3,800 cities and 52 states and territories. So they're in even territories. They're not even just in states. And that's just in America. They have 3,190 Starbucks in America. So Starbucks is definitely, they have a pretty big market share. But even if Dutch Bros just captures part of that, I mean, with these they have 17 times the amount of locations, and I don't think I know Starbucks is not expanding as rapidly as Dutch Bros, because they've already done that. They've already gotten through their expansion stage. It's proven to be a successful business. Now they're kind of just coasting, and they're trying to get their margins back up, because Starbucks has, they got a new CEO. Things have been a little choppy recently, honestly. So Starbucks is trying to get back on their feet, while Dutch Bros right here, they're up a lot. They're looking like the future's really bright. I like them a lot, especially compared to Starbucks, because I'd say that is their main competitor at this point with the size that they're reaching. This is about a $12 billion market cap company. Not that crazy, but I mean, let's look at Starbucks right here. Let's see what their market cap is. We're looking at $102 billion. So I do think that Dutch Bros is going to be a stock that 10x's. I do think that. I think that their locations are going to 17x their growth rates. They're going to find ways to make them higher. They're going to put locations, out of country, in Canada and China, and, places in Europe, and places in maybe parts of Africa and Australia. I think that there's going to be, South America, Dutch Bros is going to expand very well, and it's going to be reciprocated very well also. I've seen the people, I've seen the lines, I've seen the demand that they have for their product. I feel very confident in this business model and what this company is doing, their branding, their flavors, everything they're doing. And then you look at the numbers, and then it just makes you even more confident. So when I find a company like that, I find no reason not to invest in it. And I feel very confident in putting a lot of money in this stock. I'm about to make an investment today. Probably actually, to be completely transparent, I'm probably going to sell off some AMD, take some gains on it. I still believe in AMD the same I always have. I do. But I do want to take some gains on AMD because I'm just not sure about the stock market's take, what's going to go on in the stock market for the next couple of months, as nobody is. But I'm just not sure, if stocks are going to drop, or if I, can get into AMD for lower maybe. I'm not sure about that, but I do feel better about Dutch Bros getting in there right now than if I were to get in it at $80. So I really do want to get in some Dutch right now. It has gone all the way up to $85, and I think that $100 is very soon for this stock. So yeah, I really would get some right now. I wouldn't wait and sit on the sideline, because you saw that if you waited with Starbucks, you'd still be waiting to invest today. And Dutch Bros is way younger than Starbucks, and they have a lot going on for them. I really like it. I also have friends in Arizona who said that they've seen the Dutch Bros out there. That is where their headquarters is, but there's a lot of them out there, and they're the same. There's a line all the time, all day. Doesn't matter. They stay open into the afternoon, into the night, and there's still a line. It's insane. So yeah, guys, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to smash the like button. Be sure to buy some Dutch Bros stock. And if you do enjoy the channel, we're posting daily content, a video every day where we talk about different stocks, different strategies, update you on the portfolio, what I'm doing with my money. And yeah, so all of that combined. So if you did enjoy, be sure to subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.